I'm Greg Groogan, and welcome to Watch Your Point, where our panelists call it like they see it. Let's greet them. Starting us off, Fox 26 legal and political analyst Chris Tritico. Next up, writer and public policy consultant Charles Blaine. In the 3 spot, longtime super neighborhood leader Tamaro Bell. Batting cleanup, education and public safety advocate Paul Castro. And closing us out, Bill King, well-known businessman, columnist, and fellow at Rice University's Baker Institute. Let's begin.
We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. To my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path.
Compelling, cautionary, heartfelt words from Utah Governor Spencer Cox during a week when it felt like the moral fabric which holds this country tenuously together was in danger of coming unwound. We all know what's unfolded. A 22-year-old crawled onto a university campus roof with a .30-06 rifle and with a single shot blew a hole through the neck of conservative activist and influencer Charlie Kirk, ending his life as thousands of students watched in shock and horror. The shooter, now in custody, was motivated by politically driven hate, as evidenced by inscriptions on recovered shell casings. The fact that millions in this country privately and in some cases publicly condone this murder is both despicable and an indicator of just how sick and divided we have become. Again, Governor Cox.
Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree.
For me, that's a voice of reason in comparison with others, including the president, who demonize left-wing radicals without recognizing those on the far right who've committed or will commit equally egregious acts. Okay, panel, let's start our discussion. I just happen to know that Charles Blaine, you knew Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. We got started in politics together at the American Conservative Union, CPAC. It's interesting because a lot of kids who got involved in politics through CPAC, if they had money, they would go to CPAC. The rest of us who didn't have money, we would volunteer there because we would get to go into the conference and get to have get a hotel room and stuff. And so Charlie was one of us, and so we were in our early 20s. He was late teens, and we got to know each other pretty well and stayed in touch kind of throughout the years. Appeared at different things. Last year we were both at Texas Youth Summit, and so I mean it's really interesting because we see this happen all the time. This is the first time for me that it's ever been obviously someone I knew, but someone who's kind of within my age range and who does stuff that I think we all do, which is just go out there and voice our opinions in different venues in the public and trying not to shy away from the things that we believe in. And to see his life taken, I mean, simply for that, like, has he said controversial stuff? Sure, plenty of people have. I have as well. But it's just, I don't know. It's been really hard for me to wrap my mind around, particularly because of his age, and obviously knowing him. But I think the one thing that I took away from it, though, is that I'm more determined moving forward to kind of push forward the values and the beliefs that I have, because he did that, without fear, and he received death threats, and I think we all should. But I also think that when we look at politics, people need to recognize that it's a vehicle, it's a tool that we should be using to advocate for things that we believe in, but it's not life. And everybody today has just made it their religion, and it has allowed them to kind of dehumanize folks on both sides and lead to situations like this. And I hope it changes, but I don't know, the end doesn't seem in sight.
Chris Tritico, you felt compelled to write about this and to react.
I did, and I've written a lot over the years about different topics, but the First Amendment is one of them that I've written a lot about. And this Charlie Kirk used the First Amendment a lot, and he should have. He was exercising his right to express himself and using it in a very effective way. It was divisive, but he was exercising a right that we all enjoy, and he should not have died for that. We should honor everyone's right to exercise that right, and what he was doing and the way he was doing it was extremely effective, and I honor his use and his honoring of the First Amendment. And even though I didn't agree with what he said and the way in the things he said, I respect his use of the First Amendment, and I would have defended his right to speak any day, anyone's right to speak. And his dying because of it is wrong, and we should not resort to violence at any time because someone is exercising their right to speak.
Paul, a whole new group of crime victims, survivors now. What's been going through your heart and in your mind?
Yeah, so I extend my sympathies to his friends and family. I extend my sympathies to all the people who felt aligned with him and his beliefs and what he had to say because they lost someone, and that's tragic. I'm horrified that, so when I found out about it, I didn't really know what was happening. I was stuck in a work meeting and driving, and pulled over at a stop sign, and I was speeding through, and there it was, the shooting, right? And I didn't ask to see it. It just hit me in the face, and it was rough to see. I felt for, this is a school shooting. I do want to contextualize this. There were thousands of young people who were going to hear a person, most of whom agreed strongly with him, and they witnessed something they shouldn't have to see, right? After that, millions of people have since seen the video multiple times, posted it, shared it, talked about it. And many of those are kids, and they don't have anyone who's coming to them and contextualizing what this is and asking them to temper their feelings around it, and I just feel terrible about that.
This show is a part of the public square, the same public square that Charlie Kirk entered, and we are undeterred. I know it. Still to come, Governor Greg Abbott pledging a huge investment to fix what's broken in Houston, specifically hundreds of busted water pipes. But up next, Houston State Senator Joan Huffman looking to be our state's next top cop. We're talking one-on-one in depth on the other side of this break.